Welcome to Sweet Insights with Ali and Amy, where today on episode 16 of season 3, we are talking about the overlooked signs of hormonal imbalance. Before we get started today, I have to tell you, I randomly yesterday, so I was gifted one of those herb gardens that there's like these little puckets things that you put
The
in. And so mine
pods.
has 6 different herbs. I've wanted one of these for years. And then I kept telling myself it was dumb and I got gifted one. So excited. But here's what happened is it grew faster than I could eat the herbs. And so the light raises. So like literally 22 days after planting, you've got these massive plants and so exciting because you can like add them to salads or you can make salad dressings. So it's great, but I can't consume like the fresh dill is out of control. And so you can raise the light as the plants get bigger, but the plants were like getting burnt by the light because it doesn't go any higher. So I should have probably, in hindsight, like transferred them out of this unit and put them in soil. But now, because it's hydroponics, all the roots are all intertwined together. So I probably need to restart. But so I researched on my friend ChatGPT, and he told me that you could like hang the dill and dry it and then put it in your like shaker thing. So did that with the dill, but I really wanted to use my fresh basil because I love fresh basil. So I was like, it's totally fine. Like we don't know what's for dinner tomorrow night or last night. So I'm like, I'm gonna make homemade pesto because that's what you do when you have an abundant amount of basil. Well, of course, I didn't have any pine nuts. So I'm like, my friend ChatGPT, like, what are my other options? And it's like, oh, you can use walnuts. I'm like, I don't have walnuts. I'm like, let's just go with pecans. Like, I'll just use pecans. I made homemade pesto sauce last night with pecans and garlic and a little bit of lemon juice and olive oil. Let me tell you, this pasta that I made, muy good. So good. I
Okay,
think everyone needs to try it. Pesto
I'm so
sauce with
excited for
pecans.
you. I'm so excited for you with your pecans, but I prefer pecans. But I was so excited. And I was going to say, your friend Chat GPT obviously should have also told you that you could trim those things. You don't just have to let them grow or hang them upside down. But yes, you could trim them. I guess same thing hanging upside down and drying
Trim
it. But
them and use them.
yeah, but obviously if they're getting too big. You could
So
always like,
I didn't dig them out. I trimmed them.
yeah, yeah.
And so I used all of the abundance that I had.
So you could also trim and make a new shoot on another thing, although I know it because you said your roots are all intertwined together, so you can't do that. But could you not trim it and start a new shoot like with some hydroponics and like get that going without the pod?
I don't know.
You could. I
I'd
bet
have
you
to
if you
how
asked
would you
ChatGPT.
how would you reroute it?
No, no. So, well, because there's ways. So maybe herbs are different, but there's ways like with any seed and fruit and things and vegetables that you can like
Yes. But I
reroute
don't
it.
think you can with herbs.
And I don't know that.
No,
Maybe.
I've done it with lettuce before. Like
Hmm.
you just grow lettuce from lettuce, 100%. But like I don't think you can with herbs. Anyways, the point of the story was is I wanted to use the herbs
Yes.
because I can cut them and they'll keep growing. So I use them. I'm very proud of my
I
usage of
love
them.
it. Yes. You didn't share any to Nova Scotia, but that's fine.
It's kind of hard to get there.
It is. I feel like you could do it, but it might not be worth the shipping.
So I was talking to one of my clients yesterday who was kind of like in a rut. And it's funny because I know a lot of people get into like ruts in like February, right? Like February, like dying for good weather, and we get in a rut. And here in Ontario, we've been having this like a week of great weather, and then all of a sudden it's like super cold again. And so like yesterday was not supposed to be nice, but it was like cooking hot. Like it was like 21 degrees. And then today was supposed to be nice, and it's like 8 degrees. And so, because we keep getting these super warm days followed by a cold day, it's like playing with us. So, like yesterday, I was like, oh, yes, fresh herbs, fresh homemade food, da 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 da. And now today it's cold, and I'm like, and it's so funny how the weather can impact, and people underestimate this, but like on a rainy day, I crave pasta. Like I crave comfort food. Like give
Me
me
too.
cheesy noodles. Like I want that comfort.
All of it.
And today I am cold and I'm the same way. I'm like, I'm not necessarily craving a healthy broth. I'm craving like something naughty because I'm cold and I want comfort. And so I think that's important for people to notice those trends in themselves.
It is. And I notice the same trends in myself. And one of the things that I notice the most is if I don't have good food in the house, then I'm like, oh, too bad I didn't have a salad. I could have ate it. And like, really, we all know if I had a salad in the house, I'm probably going to eat something tastier anyway, because that's what happens. But like, I feel like I want to be good. So I have salads in the house. And last night I ended up just having some hummus and nacho chips, and it wasn't anything substantial. But today I had a good lunch. I have some factor meals. So promoting the factor meals because they're convenient. You can stay within your diet depending on what your dietary restrictions are. It takes like less than 3 minutes to make. It is my protein and everything. It's great. But would I have rathered something else? Yes. However, it did kind of meet my comfort food needs because it was a hot meal.
Hmm.
So that was
Are you
good. But
getting
I am
similar
saying,
weather there?
yeah, we're like, it's beautiful one day, raining the next, and freezing cold the next day. Like, I don't know what it's on. It's on a loop of some sort. We had like cloudy skies this morning, tons of rain last night, like lightning storms here last night. And now it's like getting sunny out. And I'm still in a sweater, but because I don't know how to dress because it's Nova Scotia.
None of that.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about like some of the things that, we don't associate necessarily with hormone imbalances or perimenopause. And one of my clients this week out of the US, she actually has been having heart palpitations. And so she has gone to the doctor. They've run an absorbent amount of tests, and she's got like this extra heartbeat that's happening. So they're monitoring her really, really closely. And she's now been referred to a cardiologist. And the cardiologist is saying, we're doing these tests to rule things out, but there is the possibility that this is perimenopause, that this is another symptom.
Yep.
And so we were kind of joking about, you go through childbirth, you go and do all these things, like I'm coming back as one of my dogs in a future life, right? Like I always thought before I was coming back as a male, but like honestly, like the list just keeps getting added on. And I haven't had a chance to share this with you yet, but I'm kind of excited to tell you about this horrible symptom that in my own perimenopause journey I have come across. And it's something called oral allergy syndrome. Have you heard of it?
No, but I feel instinctively I know what you're gonna say, but I want you to say it because I don't want to say something wrong and embarrass myself on like our podcast. But also, I just have this feeling I know what you're gonna say because I feel like it's something I was gonna say. Okay, so you say first, and then I will tell you if I was right or wrong.
So funny enough, my son was diagnosed at this at 3. And so what happened was is we gave him a whole bunch of peaches, and it was like summer and peach season. And literally from the time he went from the kitchen table to the front door, he had completely inflamed and like was having this massive allergic reaction. And we were like, what the heck? And we got the Benadryl. And so we ended up getting referral and getting him allergy tested. And the allergy specialist said he's not actually allergic to peaches. He's actually allergic to the tree. And so what happens is if he had had peaches like in a baby food, he wouldn't have reacted to it because it would have been boiled. Or if he was to have a peach and there was no skin on it, he probably would also be okay because it's actually an oral allergy syndrome from an allergic reaction to the tree. And so lo and behold, people who have this, it can be stemmed worse at different stages, but you will be reactive to things like hazelnuts, pineapples, peaches, apples. There's like a list of things. And so cherries is another one. And so I've always been, not always, but I would say in my adult life, I have reacted to cherries really bad and then pineapples sometimes. But oh my word, a couple weeks ago, I was eating raw carrots, got the reaction. My tongue swelled. It was like almost like you had eaten Vicks. Like it all got all like tingly and fuzzy and like that kind of thing. Like I'd eaten eucalyptus. And then it happened again when I ate an apple, and I eat an apple every single day. And so I was searching into this because I'm like, why is this like growing? And apparently in perimenopause, it can expand. And the more exposure you have, the worse and worse it gets. So I can now eat carrots cooked, but I need to avoid them raw. Apples, like apples. So I have now like loaded up with pears because pear is my new fruit of choice because I'm almost like I'm afraid to eat an apple because not only does it happen, but like it doesn't go away quickly.
So are you going to cook all your apples now too?
I don't know. I'm like, I've been avoiding apples for like the last 2 or 3 weeks.
So I did think you were going to say something similar, slightly different because my daughter also had an issue with specific fruits, and we thought she had an allergy. We got her tested, and they're like, "Hey, like sometimes it's just the seed of the fruit. Like maybe like for example, this isn't one, but like dragon fruit because dragon fruit has little seeds in it, so you can be sensitive to the seeds and not actually the dragon fruit." I have a friend who cannot eat almonds raw, but she can eat them chocolate covered. There's fruits that she can eat as long as they are, I think they're either cooked or chocolate covered, like certain things because it changes the chemical balance of whatever it is she's allergic to or allergic to.
But the fact that like, and for those of you who don't know me very well, if this is your first time listening, I am a celiac. So I'm already restrictive in my eating and I tend to eat really healthy. I'm a health coach, so I promote healthy eating. But like apples, like this makes my heart sad.
Right? It's funny though, because I also additionally have done a lot of reading, and as one does in the middle of the night, not in the middle of the night, but late at night, I send you lots of social media posts because I'm watching and my phone is full of them. Like, guys, like if you came to my phone, you'd
Sometimes
be
we
like,
coach Amy on things and she struggles to follow through on them.
like, lady, you're be like, you are definitely going through perimenopause. Your phone is loaded full of stuff. Like, no, I say the word, my phone is now full of it. And so all I get
Expensive.
are memes and gifts and all these things that I send them through to Allie. And one of the things I was reading though is like the lesser known symptoms, kind of where our podcast is going today. Um, but like the lesser known or overlooked signs, which is so funny that this is what we're talking about. But like one of them is getting canker sores more in your mouth because of
Ooh.
how your mouth is reacting to symptoms of stress because we're getting more stress with our perimenopause. And so that's also something that people don't think of when they're getting stressed that they get maybe sores or white spots or something in their mouth and things like that. And we can dive down that road another day. But it's just funny that you mentioned your new found allergy. And so it really sucks because there's so many things that happen and it's not fair. Like, I'm
Well,
here
what
to say
I'm
it's not
excited
fair.
to like find out is like once I'm done perimenopause, like whether this is 10 or 15 years or whatever it is, like when I'm on the other side of this, will that go away? Like once my hormones are done doing their little fluffy messness and like then it levels out, will I come back to the like ground zero?
Well, I'm hoping that you'll put an event in your calendar right now for 10 years down the road, and then we can revisit this. Like
Can
we'll
you
do a
now eat
special episode,
cherries?
right? So here is something else too. You were just talking about symptoms and things, and I know we're jumping like way all over the map for today, but like I am noticing like I've had a week and it's definitely because of stress, but again, I'm always thinking like I'm on that cusp of perimenopause, like what's going on, but my anxiety has been through the roof. I love my children dearly, but there's some days I'm like, you need to stop talking. Like I just can't. Work has been crazy busy. That always makes everything heightened and up here. And like sometimes my kids will be talking and I know I've zoned out and I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. The video game, like this doesn't even make sense to me, but okay, I love you so much and I'm just gonna watch your mouth go and pretend that I know
Because
what
you're
you're
half
talking about.
listening. You're half listening.
I'm half listening. I know. And it's because, well, one is because I really don't like, sometimes I'm just like, there's lots of things. I love video games and I love my son, of course, but there's some things that he's gone over my head and around the corner, down to the corner store and back. Like I could not tell you what he's talking about. And I have to just nod my head and smile because we're at that age. Like, unless you're in the video game world, unless you're playing, you don't know and you can't even fathom the things that they say. Like, it all sounds made up, but it's not.
We watched this I don't know, it was like a parenting course or like something, like they were talking about kids and anxiety, and they were talking about like, you know, ways to like better your relationship with your kids and all the things. And it's so funny because my husband loves video games and my son is in the stage of life where like we don't see him, and the most words that come out of his mouth is okay. And you know, he shovels food in, and that's like, you're lucky if you see him at dinner time. Like that's where we're at. And it's so funny because my husband loves video games. And after we watched this like parenting, like this seminar or whatever, and they were talking about like ways to connect with your kids. And one of the recommendations is to show up for your kids where they're at doing what they like. Like, so find something your kid likes and do it with them. So he's like, right on. And like, and there was like a component about like internet safety or whatever. And they're like, you know, go and play the games your kids are playing. Go and like, so now my husband has been playing video games with my son, and to the point that my son, who like will game online with his friends, the friends have now included the dad in the playing, and like he has a nickname. And like the other day we were somewhere and we bumped into one of his friends outside, and he like yelled over to Greg in his like nickname video game name. um it's just so hilarious because he's like used this and like almost expanded on it for his own well-being, because Austin gets home from school at 4, you know, typically 4 or 5 o'clock we're cooking dinner. And now it's like Greg is now playing video games at that time and coming down like hoping dinner is ready. I'm like, how wonderfully aligned is this for you?
Right? So another thing, since we're on the
But all
topic,
jokes aside, I do think it's great that they're bonding together
oh,
because
absolutely it is. Of course it is. But I get you. I get you, girl.
just so I don't get attacked, right? Like with the haters out there that, you know, like
Right?
to, yeah.
No, no, I totally understand you. But yeah, so talking about some sneaky symptoms, let's talk about skin changes.
Mm.
Like, I know myself, like I actually have been doing some skin treatments, which I've never done in my whole life, and I just decided I would try it out. So we can talk more about that again in another episode because I feel it will take up so much time. But one of the things I'm getting done is like microneedling, like microderm, for lack of better terms and specific names. But my skin, like, so I feel like it's feeling good, but on like, I'll wake up one morning and this has nothing to do with the treatment. But like my nose is like, and my skin feels normal. And then the next time, like I can go like this and I feel like my nose wants to peel off. Like all of my skin, like my skin is going from dry to normal just from looking sideways. And it's not ever really oily, but like I just feel the inconsistencies. I'm not having breakouts like I was, which is nice. And that's also trying to be good with my eating. But I just feel like my skin, I can never figure out my skin anymore.
Do you use hyaluronic acid?
So I do not, but I do, well, that's not true. I do sometimes. I have a very inconsistent skincare, so that's me. But I do know that skin issues and being up and down is all part of perimenopause and menopause. And so that is a very inconsistent thing anyway. But I do use stuff often and try and moisturize my skin and put not only the moisture in, but then lock it in with, or do hydration and then lock it in with some moisture. Trying to keep all of the hydration in.
So, fun fact that random people don't know about me is that I actually was trained in microneedling. used to microneedle patients, and so have quite a bit of knowledge about skincare. And hyaluronic acid, most people's skin, like when it's like flakier and that kind of thing, is mostly because of dehydration and dehydration of the skin. So like yes, you need to drink more water and all those things, but it won't necessarily only be cured by that. And so using serums, and every serum has a different purpose. I mean, my own 11-year-old taught me that niacinamide, or however you pronounce it. I'm not very good at pronouncing of the names, but is really good for pores. And so I started using that just to, and you don't even have to get like an expensive name brand like Inky List or the original. Like those are like really cost effective ways to just get those ingredients into your skin. So, cleansing, toning, using a hyaluronic acid to get that hydration into your skin becomes that one more important when we age and as our hormones are changing and all those things. So I would highly recommend a hyaluronic acid in your regime, and making that regime more consistent. And then, what you would likely need, depending on how sensitive your skin is, a night serum that's going to help you exfoliate. So that's where people would use like a retinol, or if your skin is super sensitive, you'll use like an AHA. That's what I use because I have like red undertones, and I'm prone to redness. And the retinols are too strong on my skin. So using an AHA will help your body naturally exfoliate. You can use that daily. And then if you need like a more abrasive exfoliant, you can use that. But if you have got sensitive skin, that kind of exfoliant is just going to bring out that redness and soreness and stuff. So you don't really want to do that either.
Yeah, and it's only it's so random and weird, but anyway, like it's just this is what wants to be
Yeah.
temperamental.
When so speaking of like skin changes and stuff, like
Yeah,
I don't know how many other people this happened to, but so I have like naturally, like I have a lot of moles and stuff like that. And I recently, through the advice of a friend, did a mole mapping where they actually go and you stand, and it's very
exposed.
um yeah, it's very exposing. Leave your what's that word I'm looking for? Like leave your dignity at the door and
Yeah.
just stand naked and have your picture taken. But what's really interesting, and I was talking to the lady about this, is that when I was pregnant with my second pregnancy, I ended up with almost like a bunch of like little tiny not skin tags, but kind of like skin tags all over my stomach in pregnancy. Like they look like little tiny, like freckly, moly things. And she had a name for them. Because they're not like full skin tags that you would like tie a string on and remove. And she said it's so common with hormone changes. And so it would be amazing if they magically in perimenopause disappeared. But I think if anything, I'm just going to get more of them. But yeah, like randomly, like in pregnancy, like suddenly more of these magically appeared.
Weird. And I have coincidentally been watching a lot of Dr. Pimple Popper. I can't get enough. I don't know why. It's just
Are
something.
those like the videos where they like pop pimples with the pin?
Yeah, so she has a show now. And so I
A
watch her.
show?
Oh, she has a show.
Rewind.
She has a show. And so
Like
she,
on a TV show?
yeah, like on a TV show. And so she has a clinic, the skin clinic or something like that. I'm sure that's not the right name, but like we're
In
really
the
close. It's
US?
called skin. Yeah.
So it's a physical clinic.
Physical clinic. And so
Okay.
she also deals with lots of other skin conditions and she brings in other dermatologists and specialists in the field, which I love. And it's so interesting. There's so many skin things. And my kids cannot sit and watch it with me, which is okay because it means I get TV time by myself. So it's really not terrible. But I usually end up watching it later in the evening. And it just, that's what it made me think of. Like, you should like research and Google and like see if she knows what it is.
So they on the show they like look at pimples and pop them, or like other random skin conditions.
Yeah.
And this is like you're like, so if I'm not watching Crime Junkies, I'm like, I'm gonna watch some pimple popping.
I mean, my world is very
Judgment.
diverse. My world is very diverse, but if I'm not listening to Crime Junkies, or our own podcast, of course, yeah, I'm probably checking out something else that's cool and gross.
Pimple popping. Yeah, no.
I don't know. I have problems apparently.
I don't
I
think I
also
want
watched
to
watching
watch that show.
David Blaine and his weird stuff, so that's cool. This is what I do while I'm working doing paperwork. I put just random things on TV.
So also curious. So like if your kid has like comes home with a pimple, are you like, yeah, like are you like, let me get in there?
No, I tell them not to pop them and I tell them to leave them because I don't want them to scar. So no, I mean, I can't say I haven't asked them if they need help with it, but no, we either use pimple patches or just clean their face or leave them, or yeah, we deal with it
So
appropriately.
it's not so like I'm not like picturing that your enjoyment is of like those, you know, TikTok videos where like you see the pus explode and like
I don't really have a comment. I don't sit and watch those on my phone. So it is isolated to the TV. I don't sit
okay.
and watch those videos on my phone. I don't have
Some
time for that.
people love that. Like
I
some
know.
people that's like a thing that they like enjoy watching that.
And that's so fun for them. I don't have time. If my phone's in front of me, I'm working. It's kind of boring.
So the show is much different than I'm imagining it.
No, no, it's exactly how you imagine it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Okay.
Okay, so what other sneaky symptoms do we have? Sleep disruption. I wanted to touch on that personally because my goodness. So one, I told Ali I wasn't prepared for today, but man, I am because this is my life. I feel like this episode is everything I'm dealing with. But sleep disruption, I honestly can be exhausted. I can fall asleep immediately. And I typically don't have to get up to pee in the middle of the night, so I'm good. But if there's any other sounds, anything happens, I'm awake. It takes a while to fall asleep. And then I'm wide awake between 5 and 6, usually, trying to fall back asleep. Usually on the latter side, like on the 6 o'clock to 7 side. But like, so what is sleeping in anymore? I don't even know. Like, sleeping in for me is like I can make it to 7 o'clock on a really fantastic day, maybe 8 o'clock.
When do you find too, like I find that the worst part is if I wake up and I don't get up and I like do that kind of fall back asleep, you feel worse. So like it's better to just get like that's my struggle is I'll go back to sleep. And then I'm like, I felt great when I first woke up and I shouldn't have like done that extra sleep.
No, if I'm going back to sleep, it's because like I need the extra sleep. So then I feel pretty good when I get up again. If I wake up and I'm wide awake, I don't. And maybe that's why, because I don't try and fall back asleep if I feel wide awake. Like I'm just awake. I can't.
I accidentally cuddle the dogs and then fall back asleep and then I regret it because I felt great when I woke up, but then I went into that groggy, yucky state.
Hmm.
Um, Now, one of the things I think that's important that we talk about is that so many women go to their doctors, tell them about their symptoms, and get brushed off.
Yeah.
Like, I was so excited for my client that with this heart condition, that their cardiologist is saying, like, this is what it could be. Like, we're going to rule everything out to be sure and safe, but it could be this. And I like kudos to that cardiologist because it could just be that, right? Like it could be, and you want them to be thorough and make sure there's nothing else going on. But we so often we just hear of women that like, oh, you're having hot flashes, you're having this, you're having that. Like, oh, that's just perimenopause. Like, so long, bye-bye. And we don't have to suffer, right? We don't have to suffer silently. And that's what's really important to us on this podcast this season is to help women know that they're not alone. And there if there are steps you want to take, there are practitioners who can help you. Reach out to us and we can help support you. But there are so many different options. There's so much new research out there that I look at my mom and she bled for a year before she finally had a hysterectomy and had to cry to the doctors before they would pay attention to her. Like, we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to come to that point. And we want to look at what the options are. Is it supplements? Is it change in diet? Is it hormone replacement therapy? There are options and you don't have to just suffer silently. And I think as women, it's really important that we share together, these are the symptoms we're experiencing. These are the shitty things that are going on, to also help us each know that we're not alone, right? Like,
Agreed.
um, because it's it's not okay that we just get brushed off like that is there's the International Menopause Association. Now there's different associations who are advocating for people. There's doctors who are advocating for people, and sometimes if your own practitioner is brushing you aside, it might be because they just don't know enough, and it's not necessarily their fault. I'm not blaming them. It's that they are general practitioners who are trying to know everything about everything for
Right.
everyone. And so, maybe their patient load doesn't have a lot of people who are in the same boat as you, so they haven't done that research yet, or they haven't read the new research. Or so, even if you want help finding where that research is, maybe you want to take information to your doctor, maybe you want to see maybe you want to see a nurse practitioner instead. Just know that there are other options. And you've got to advocate for yourself. You've got to look into things for yourself, and just saying that this is just the way it is doesn't always have to be the case.
Right. And like you said, so many of them might know all the things about all the sore throats, all the headaches, all the colds or whatever. But when you come to them and you're like, hey, like, why is my weight doing this? And why is my skin doing this? And why am I not sleeping? And you're like, why are my hormones doing this? And they're like, well, it's perimenopause or menopause. Great. There you go. That's all it is. It's perfectly normal. Let's do your blood work. Everything comes back within range. Well, just because that range is normal and considered normal does not mean it is normal for you, or doesn't mean it has to be normal for you. Like, again, using my daughter as an example, her blood work was within range, but what we found is that her iron level and ferritin levels were at the very bottom of normal. And so by adding some iron in, she is a completely different child. So like, and that's just a teenager. So think of us as full grown women and all the things we have to deal with in life. And you don't have to take your normal for an answer when you don't feel normal. So if that's
Absolutely.
helpful. Yeah.
Yes. So, as always, we appreciate you all being with us today. If we can support you in any way, reach out to us, send us an email, send us a direct message on Instagram. Um, we are here to help guide you, support you. As always, we are not medical experts. We are not family physicians, so we can't guide you that way. But we are happy to share our own experiences with you, our clients' experiences, and help you know that you are not alone. We are here with you. So if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with a friend. And as always, we will see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.